Brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
And today's question comes from Heather in Wyoming. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and this has been the most stressful, painful past 2 years of my life, with my husband making horrible financial decisions that left us over $500,000 in debt. He owns a tree service business making $70,000 a year and is trying to start a mobile mechanic business and has purchased an investment property. We have a $163,000 mortgage on our house. The rent is a total disaster that's completely... the rental is a total disaster that's completely gutted, and we have to make payments every month while earning no income with it and no progress on the repairs. He also bought a brand new truck that we owe now $84,000 on and $18,000 on a loan on a Bobcat for the business, a $20,000 home equity loan that he used to fix up the rental. Oh, and over $5,000 in credit cards. He keeps saying he's working on it, and he is a hard worker, but has put us in a completely impossible situation that angers me and stresses me out every single day. I work odd hours because we can't afford childcare, nor do I want to give up time with my kids to fix a problem that I did not cause. I feel so stuck and hopeless. All right. Can we just...
Listen, I wrote it all out because I'm trying to track with this.
Okay,
Ooh.
Heather, this is not you shouldn't be this way. She's very bitter.
Yes.
As we can tell.
Yes.
Very resentful, which, again, is valid. But they feel like not only different pages financially, but they have been split now emotionally, really severed. I mean, it sounds like she wants nothing to do with him.
Yeah.
Oh, and $5,000 in credit card. It is
stuck and hopeless.
She is not in a good place, which I get it, Heather. I'm like, yeah, all these decisions were not wise decisions made. He made decisions without obviously talking to her or working as a team. So what do we do? Heather, what are we going to do?
I'm seeking counsel.
Yes.
Number one, like I always talk to folks about keeping their money safe, Rachel, and it's kind of like an acronym. And the first thing to decide like where you're at. So S is for seeking counsel. Like if you're noticing trends within your money with your spouse that you're like, what's going on here? I feel uncomfortable. I feel unsafe financially. I feel like there's something going on. Seek counsel. And then you're going to find, listen, if there's things like addiction, abuse, that's the A.
Yep.
And then F is financial infidelity, which this is getting real close to falling under. In my opinion, it is, because he's going out and spending massive amounts of money without your I'd say permission, your input.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
without
yes.
it mattering. And then the E of that is you need to evaluate your options. So that's how you go through this. And I do think that this is sometimes people think financial infidelity is like, I'm just hiding money under the mattress or something like that. But I'm like, this is a lot of money. And it sounds like, we don't know Rachel, but it sounds like she has made her objections clear. And it sounds like, we could be wrong, it might be something that he did. And then after the fact, she was like, well, how could you do that? But even still, there's financial issues here, but when I look at this, I go, this is a couple who desperately needs to go to therapy. Like they need help. And and
he's obviously not living in reality.
No.
And there's people like that we talk to, and I hate to like pinpoint people, but it's the dreamers. It's the, I have an idea, and this idea is going to work.
Yes.
Or I have a new idea here, and don't worry. This is surely gonna, and it's a level of immaturity to a point when you actually make decisions in those dreams and they don't come to fruition. You have to have reality to say, I can't do this anymore. So there's a safety here, Heather, that I would want for you, like a point where you're like, I can't keep putting myself. There's a level of danger there in this situation that's endangering my kids and my family. That is what it is. So that weight that you're feeling is very, very real. And I just want him to wake up to the reality. And I think what's going to have to happen is a third party. You're probably not going to be the one to do it, Heather, sadly. And I think sometimes
that's right.
I mean, it's like our spouse. I mean, all of us feel that way with our spouses. There's always that thing that you're like, if this or this, and you can say it, and then it ends up being nagging, and it's not effective. But when you actually sit down with a third party, usually if it's coming from someone else, it's speaking there. But that's it. I'm like the financial issues here are a symptom of where you guys are in your marriage. And again, I don't blame you, Heather, for being angry and bitter, but what are we going to do with that? We can't just sit in that and continue to be in that cycle. You, Heather, have to then grow and learn? Are there boundaries you put up now? Is there like, what do you do now? What are those steps?
Yes, that's right.
Which is really hard, but that's the situation.
Yeah, that's right. Because something's got to change. And in a situation like this, not to belabor it, but there's very little you can do to control the other party. Like, there's nothing you can do really to control the other party, but you've got to sit down and figure out, okay, what am I, Heather, going to do in order to try to better the situation? I can seek out counsel. I can put these boundaries in place. But then you've also got to kind of have that point of where you go, okay, where does this just get completely toxic? And that's up to you and like Rachel said, a third party to decide.
Yeah. And Jade, we talk all the time about couples staying on the same page, being on the same team, all of this. But there's extreme situations that we talk about a lot. And I memean, Heather may be in one of those for me, where I'm like, there's a point that you have to protect yourself and your kids, right? Like, if he's going to continue to spend, I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars, like, I don't want my name on those.
I don't want my name on that. And if you're headed towards I'm not putting this evil on you, but if you're heading towards a point where you're like, listen, I don't know if I see us together in the future, the more he racks up, like, I don't want to be any part of that, because if you don't stick together, there's like, I'm looking like, so is this part of this going to be on me? No, Yeah.
So for the time being, Heather, there's probably some hard boundaries I would put up to protect you and the kids. But working on your marriage could solve a lot of this. And then my prayer is that they would get to a point that they're in agreement and realize, okay, he's not gonna do X, Y, and Z. And now as a team, we have to work together. And if you guys get to that point, Heather, that's where you have to say, all right, we're in this together. Yeah. And what are we gonna do? And
that's right.
That's
and
hard.
Then it's on both of you to just link arms and get out of it together.
Yep. And that's what we pray for. We don't want this to split couples, but this is the stuff that causes divorce in marriages, right?
100%.
If another spouse doesn't want to take the responsibility of the decisions they've made, they're probably not taking responsibility in other parts of the marriage too. So
that's such a good point.
So hard.
Such a good point, and such a good reminder, man. It's uncomfortable and it is not fun, but have conversations with that person that you're engaged to, or even that person that you're dating. And if you've just gotten married, start having these conversations. You've got to know the other person's philosophy on money at the end of the day, and not just make assumptions and go, oh, they've got a good job, they probably have it together, or they don't seem like they have a lot of debt. Like, really digging deeper and figuring out, and just asking, even when you dream together, Rachel, like, I know there's times Sam and I will sit together and think about, oh, it would be cool to have a business like that one day. Then take it a level deeper and go, well, to what extremes would you go? Like, I would never take out money for a business, would you? Really ask the questions, find ways to bring money into the conversation so you really understand in a lot of different facets what their views are on money, because as we see here, it can really be an issue long term.
Such a tension point. So it's a big relational wedge that's caused. So you're exactly right. And I think, especially when you're dating, engaged, we get this question a lot of, when do I bring up the money? When do I all of it? And, we would always encourage to be having hard conversations about everything, right? And we've talked to people on the show that have been dating for 6 years and they don't know anything about their partner's financial situation, and they think this or that. And I remember being on the show with you one time. We were like, what do they talk about?
I know.
So take this stuff seriously, you guys. I'm like, don't ask about their 401k on the first date, but
that's a little extreme.
But start, understanding to be in the same value system with the person you're going to link arms with. And but it's a hard one. It reveals a lot.
Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life.